Alistair, you know what it's like having to side with the Americans on a national security issue in the Middle East that proves quite tricky and unpopular elsewhere. What's that like?
Well, it's difficult, and it will be very difficult for Boris Johnson. I really do find it astonishing that he stayed silent as long as he did, and that he just sort of carried on sunning himself at somebody else's expense.
Well, I don't think Macron or Merkel said anything any sooner, did they?
Well, I don't know is the answer to that. I think Macron did. But what I feel about Johnson is that, yes, he's got to try to stay close to Donald Trump, but this is not Thatcher, Reagan, Clinton, Blair, even Bush, Blair, because Trump is such a difficult ally to work with. Macron's seen that already. Macron really tried to kind of, make himself Donald Trump's best friend. And the minute he said something even vaguely critical, that was kind of, went into the deep freeze. I think that Soleimani Trump has had this suggestion put to him before. Other presidents have had the suggestion put to him before that they've known where he is, they can take him out.
Well, he's not an unknown. He's been a key player for a long time.
A long time. And Claire is right. He's done some terrible, terrible things. I mean, there are definitely British soldiers who've died as a result of his decisions. Assad basically has survived in large part because of his support and his machinations around him. So I don't think, as Johnson says, that people here are necessarily going to mourn him, but you've seen the reaction there, and that is something we really have to take seriously, because they will feel they have to react in some way, and how Trump then responds is not something that we can easily predict. And I also find it a bit troubling that Johnson literally knew nothing about this, and he found out about it in the same time frame as we did.
Well, so did literally everyone else in the world.
Yes, I know, but I think that is meant to be. I think we've got to be really careful sometimes that we talk about the special relationship. It does exist, it is significant, it is real, but they are the senior partner. And in this set of circumstances, it appears to me that Trump has done this without really bringing a lot of his own people into the system. I understand the secrecy, I get all that. But I think the fact that Johnson literally knew nothing and then has now having to play catch up, I think it makes it harder for him then to play a positive role. And sorry to go on about Brexit, but I think it also makes it harder that we are no longer seen as the player that we were inside the European Union.
Well, I'm sorry to go on about Iraq. If I could just point out that the destabilisation of that region is not entirely got nothing to do with you. So just to throw that out there, that one of the problems with this region is that it is absolutely unstable. Iran has been able to take that dominant role and play its role out in terms of Iraq because of what happened in relation to the Iraq war. So
well, can I also say, Claire,